Well, it's Thursday, and you know what that means. Well, there's been a slight change of plan regarding of the day when we do Thursday wrestling. As you know, I normally review MLW, Impact Wrestling, and Ring of Honor. However, out of the three, one was not actually is being uploaded on their YouTube channel. I'm talking about MLW. Of course, apparently they're preparing for their upcoming pay-per-view called One Shot that features, of course, the main event being for the MLW World Heavyweight title. Alex Kane defends his belt against Cardona. Now, I don't know when I'll be able to see it, but hopefully I'll see that soon. However, that doesn't mean that I have to not make no reviews. As you know, I say we have Impact and Ring of Honor, so we will be doing that as well. As you know, Impact Wrestling headed to Monterrey to say hi to many of their Mexican fan base, but also collaborate with people from AAA. And of course, Ring of Honor, as you know, we're getting closer now to their next and final year of the pay-per-view, which is Final Battle. So we're going to be seeing what's going to happen before then. But first things first, we have New Japan Pro Wrestling with, of course, the conclusion of the B block in World Tag League. Now, who will walk out as the finalist before it? Well, we'll just have to find out and wait and see. But right now, as you know, we've got more news updates to tell what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, any wrestlers that either been signed or departing from any promotion, injured wrestlers, the whole enchilada. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Lead It Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Lead It Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to get our hands on. We also do more news updates. If we're unable to put it on this episode, we'll put it separately. We also do other more cool stuff, but you guys will enjoy this channel. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool stuff on this channel. But if you also like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or give us a nice comment down below. Now, our first review, we continue, of course, with day 14, and we're concluding with the B block matches in World Tag League by New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, we already announced who is the finalist in, of course, in the A block. We have TMDK and the Bullet Club War Dogs. So, as you know, we will find out who, in fact, will walk out as the two finalists representing the A block. Let's get started. Our first match, we have the Rogue Army, consistent of Bullet Club members Jack Banza and, of course, the Rogue General, Balak Fale. They take on Minoru Suzuki and Yuji Nagata. So you know this is going to be a good match. However, as you know, Balak Fale is a big dude. It will not stop Nagata or Suzuki one way or the other because they show no fear, especially with a guy like Balak Fale. But however, that wasn't the case because Jack Banza, on the other hand, suffered the fate when he got Gotch-style power drive by none other than Minoru Suzuki. And that ends their, of course, the World Tag League record. They walk away with 4 points in this one. I mean, not bad. I mean, they did started out bad with no wins. But as for Rogue Army, well, they are way bottom then, of course, than Nagata and Suzuki with just only 2 points. Just 1 win. Now, our next match, we have Soberano Jr. and Atlantis. They take on the members, the Sandoka Jr. and Yodatsuji. Now, I failed to mention what happened the last time when Sandoka Jr. and Yodatsuji won their previous match. It turns out that Yodatsuji was asking, of course, his boss, the leader of LIJ, that he would like him to join Los Ingordenables de Japón. However, Naito is very keen on who he invites, but however, I think he wants to see what Sandokan is really about. However, I think that was a pretty good case because I'm pretty sure that Sandokan has to deal with 2 well-recognized wrestlers in CML. We're talking about Soberano Jr. and Atlantis. You know this match was going to be good. I have to say, pretty good. And Soberano Jr. was the one who put away Zondaka with the Soberano driver. 1, 2, 3. But of course, out of nowhere, we see the members of LIJ. Shingo, Bushi, and of course, Naito. So basically, Naito went straight up to Sandokan Jr. and he said to him in Spanish, well, I'm going to translate it in English for all of you next time. So basically, I think Naito is interested in him. Now, keep in mind, they do have a Mexican wrestler who is in LIJ, and that is Titan. I think Naito feels like, even though his time for retirement is drawing to a close, I think he wants to leave LIJ in a big way where when he's gone, it could continue to grow without him. Now, our next match, we have Monster Sauce, consisting of Alex Zane and Archer, taking on God, El Fantasmo, and Hikuleo. Now, I think this was a pretty good, fun match. As you know, Hikuleo and El Fantasmo like to have a bit of fun before the start of the match, do the high five. But of course, Zane and Archer, who have been a very good, stable team. I mean, they have been very cohesive since the start, even though Archer said that he gets free tacos with Zane since he is sponsored by Taco Bell. He won't have a problem. But I have to say, what a good match. But I feel like if you look at this, let's look at the factors from both teams. You look at Zane and El Fantasmo. These 2 guys move like junior heavyweights, but now they made the jump to heavyweight, which is interesting. And then you look at Archer and Hikuleo, 2 big men. People are calling this a kaiju fight. Why not? But there can only be one. And I think Monster Sass and God were 2 of the fan favorites in this one. However, it was the Super Thunder Kids 86 by LP that put away Zane, and not to mention they gained the respect from both teams. I have to say, what a fantastic match. However, the good news about this match, as you know, Monster Sauce walk away with 8 points, but God, on the other hand, they walk away with 10 points and they advanced to the semifinals, which is good. However, that does not end there. We do have one more match, and this match will determine who will head to the semifinals along with God. First team, we have just 5 guys, Yuya Uemura and Taichi, being accompanied by Sanada. They take on, of course, the 2-time winners of World Tag League. We're talking about Bishamon. Now, of course, as you know, they have won last year's World Tag League and the year before that. Will they make this year their 3rd? Well, we'll see. However, it was a fantastic match between both sides. I mean, to me, I was a bit biased because anything could happen. I mean, look, the factors for me when it comes to just 5 guys, they want to well establish themselves in New Japan since Suzuki-gun actually broke away. And of course, Sanada decided to leave. And of course, Yu Uemura coming back. And I think that's a good thing. However, Bishamon has been one of the most impressive tag teams we've seen. But in the end, it was Uemura who suffered the fate with the Shoto, giving the win, and Yoshihashi was the one who picked up the pinfall. However, it was later announced that Bishamon also makes it to the semifinals along with God. So basically, we will see the semifinals, then the finals. So we will see who will walk out as the winners. We only have 2 more days left when it comes to World Tag League. So by this time this video will be out, I think day 15 will be already set, but we'll continue to review. But right now, let's move on with Impact Wrestling. Okay, Impact Wrestling. As you know, we're almost at the end of this year, which I failed to mention earlier. However, that doesn't mean that we end things at all. But Impact Wrestling will have their final pay-per-view of 2023. But first things first, they made their way to Monterrey, Mexico, where they collaborated with their friends with AAA. As you know, they did have a working relationship with them, and they to continue to bring that relationship back to life. I know some of you are thinking, wait a minute, does AAA and AEW work together? Yes. AEW are a company that willing to work with any promotion. It doesn't matter where or when, they can work things around. But this is a very good event. Now, our first match, we had an intergender tag match. We have Chick Tormenta and Dinamico. They take on Chris Sabin and Trinity. Now, what I like about in this combination, here's the thing. Trinity comes out dressed up kind of like Chris Sabin, making herself like she's like a Motor City Machine Guns. But Matthew Renwell said something. What do we call these guys? Glow machines? But Tom said, no, glow guns. There you go. So let's just call Sabin and Trinity glow guns. And I think it's a pretty good match. However, as you know, if you guys are unfamiliar with any of the AAA stars, that's okay. I've seen Dinamico before. Chick Tormenta, I have seen her before. I think she was a member of Los Vipers until she was kicked out or so. I don't know. But anyway, it was a pretty good match. You can see there was some good moments. But however, it was Trinity with the full Nelson bomb onto Chick Tormenta to pick up the win. Now, Josh Alexander, as you know, he is preparing for his match at Final Resolution. As you know, he'll be teaming up with Zack Sabre Jr., but they will face against the best tag team in the world, the Motor City Machine Guns. Now, as you know, both Alexander and Zack Sabre Jr. are both technical wrestlers, so we will see how the fighting styles can make a difference in this match. Next up, we have a 3-way match. We have Latigo of Los Vipers versus Mysticis Jr. versus Eddie Edwards. Now, of course, we were going to see some team-ups when it comes to 3-ways, especially with Latigo and Mysticis, who are full-blown Mexicans, that you know for a fact that they will not tolerate an American like Eddie Edwards at all. But, however, Eddie is a heel, and so is Latigo. So we'll see combinations like that. That's what it was going on. But, however, it was Mysticis Jr. with the shooting star press that put away Eddie Edwards, giving him the win. So it's pretty interesting that you see someone outside of Impact picking up the win. Now, we do see a little video message from Trey Miguel sending to none other than Speedball Mike Bailey. So Trey Miguel says that, you know, that he's sick and tired of a guy like Speedball Mike Bailey, who's been nothing but a thorn on his side, yada, yada, yada. And of course, he said that he's going to stomp on his feet, since we all know Mike Bailey doesn't wear shoes during his wrestling match. But we'll see what happens until that time. However, we do see a little message from Motor City Machine Guns addressing their challengers at Final Resolution, Josh Alexander and Zack Sabre Jr. Next up, we have a women's tag team match. We have Jordynne Grace teaming up with Sexy Star. They take on Deonna Purrazzo and Maravilla. So I have to say, pretty good match as well. I have seen Sexy Star. Well, this is the version 2 of Sexy Star, if I might add. She was given the name after the original was fired and of course banned from wrestling from the last encounter that the Impact and AAA had in the past. If you guys remember clearly, Rosemary got her arm dislocated by the original Sexy Star due to something that happened. Um, I remember Jeff Jarrett was not happy about that, but that's what happened. But this time we have a new Sexy Star. Nothing compare what happened with the original. But there were some good moments in this match, that we can say. But it was Jordynne Grace with the Juggernaut Driver that put away Maravilla, giving her the win. Now, next up, we have a tag team up. We have Black Taurus teaming with Brian Myers to take on Laredo Kid and Tommy Dreamer. I have to say it was a pretty good match. There was a moment you see Maricela Peña, who is the president of the company, and not to mention her brother was the founder of AAA. Tommy Dreamer was on his way, was right in front of her. He grabbed a fan's beer, with permission, and then he missed it right in the eyes of Black Taurus. So he was able to take out Black Taurus. That gives Laredo time to do his thing when he applied a sunset bomb, and boom, 1, 2, 3, it was over right from there. But however, Dreamer was not done. As you know, he pulled out a table. You cannot end a match without Tommy Dreamer putting someone through a table. So, Black Taurus got Death Valley bomb right through it, and just like that. so better luck. Now, Trinity does a video package of her own when she addresses her opponent at Hard to Kill, Jordynne Grace. Now, she said she will end 2023 as the Impact Knockouts World Champion, but hopes to start as the Knockouts World Champion at 2024. Now, our next match, we have Josh Alexander teaming with Octagon Jr. to take on Moose at Toxin. Pretty good match and all this and that. So basically, there were some good moments in this. However, it was Moose that speared, I think it was an Octagon? Yeah, Octagon Jr. to pick up the win. Now, Tommy Dreamer addressed his next opponent for the television title at Final Resolution, and that is none other than Diener. So we will be seeing that as well. Our main event, we have the Motor City Machine Guns teaming with Hijo del Vikingo. They take on Trey Miguel and the members of Los Vipers, Latigo, and Toxin. So I have to say it was a pretty good match. I mean, I like the combination with Vikingo and Motor City Machine Guns. I'm not going to lie about that. But it was a fantastic match. But as always, Vikingo continues to impress the wrestling world with his high-flying skills. When he applied a Phoenix Splash onto Miguel, 1, 2, 3, it was over. I wouldn't be surprised if Miguel will demand a match one-on-one against him to make up for that loss. So I could hope we could expect that. But for now, we'll just end things right here with Impact. Move on with Ring of Honor. Our final review, Ring of Honor. We opened up with Billy Starks taking on Danny Moe. So as you know what happened last week, Athena played her, saying that she did not graduate MIT, and of course Athena got away with it. But you can say that we're seeing a much better growth with Billy Starks ever since then. But some fans can say that she's finally broke away from Athena to do her own thing. But she applied a Swanton bomb to put away Danny Moe. However, during the post-match, Athena showed up out of the blue. Apparently, this thing between Athena and Billy Starks has gone far enough. So basically, they continue to attack each other until Athena finally put her down to send her a message that she will not walk away at Final Battle as the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. However, Athena was telling her graduate from MIT, Lexi Neer, that she's, come on, you enjoy seeing that beat up. So basically, you can tell Lexi doesn't like that, but she knew she had to play along as possible. So we will see what happens until then. Now, We do see a video package from BCC, most specifically Wheeler Yuta and Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson talked about his time in Final Battle, participating in those events with Ring of Honor. However, he talked about the last one where, of course, it featured the late Jay Briscoe, who, as you know, his life was taken from us, the wrestling fans. So he said that he wants to honor Jay Briscoe in the upcoming Final Battle event. The BCC declare a challenge against, of course, Mark Briscoe and FTR. As you know, FTR and Mark Briscoe are good friends since they are one of the most, they had an impressive 3 matches that they have in the past. So the obvious thing for me is who's going to be the third man for BCC. That's going to be interesting. So we'll find out. Our next up, we have Johnny TV taking on Dalton Castle. Now, Johnny TV, who, as you know, saying that he is made for television, is dealing with a guy like Dalton Castle who said he is made for television. So there is a battle who is made for television. But of course, out of nowhere, here comes Tail Valkyrie to take out the boys in order to ensure Johnny TV gets the win. However, out of nowhere, Kiera Hogan shows up to help Dalton Castle. Now, that was surprising to me, but it was the Bangarang that put away Johnny TV by Dalton Castle to pick up the win. Now, our next match, we have Rachel Ellering, but this time she's accompanied by Layla Hirsch and Maria. It's kind of interesting to see that. She takes on Nikki Victory, but you can guess that she really was impressive in this match. Not to mention, Maria was also impressed. I don't know what kind of game Maria is playing, but Rachel Ellering did pick up a good one with the Boss Woman Slam. But during an interview, there's a part that I think for Rachel Ellering, she doesn't trust Maria for some odd reason, for very good reasons. So I don't know exactly what's going on. Even Layla Hirsch doesn't know what to think. Basically, conflicted. Now, our next match, we have the Workhorsemen versus the Infantry. Pretty good match. I have to say, one of my favorite tag matches of the night. But you would have assumed this would have felt favor for the Infantry in talks for them maybe for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles. But however, it was the Workhorsemen that were able to pick up the win. When they take out the captain, Sean Dean, it was JD Drake who picked up the pinfall. I was like, dang, Infantry had it, but Workhorsemen did their job. Next up, we had a very interesting women's tag team match. The Renegade Twins, Robin and Charlotte, take on Trish Adora and Lady Frost. Now, this is why the Renegade Twins always say they are the true establishment of women's tag team, because they're both sisters. They always work together. However, you have a makeshift team like Trish Adora and Lady Frost. But I have to say, Lady Frost and Trish Adora really can work together. Now, they have faced each other in the past as opponents, but working together as a tag team, that kind of is a pretty good combination, not to lie. I mean, if Ring of Honor had a women's world tag team titles, they probably would be pursuing it. But it was Lady Frost with the frostbite on one of the Renegades. 1, 2, 3, over. Now, we have one of those survival of the fittest eliminations for the Ring of Honor television title. We have Josh Woods taking on Lee Johnson. Now, you would have assumed in this type of match that Josh Woods would be the one to walk away, because we know he has technical aspects in this match. He has been one of those wrestlers that want to have a chance of the pure title. However, our surprising, Lee Johnson built up great momentum in this match. And not to mention, he pulled off an impressive win against Josh Woods with the Frog Splash. I have to say, pretty impressive. And I think this might caught the attention of none other than the leader of Shane Taylor Promotions, Shane Taylor. Next up, we have the Outrunners, uh, Turbo Floyd and Truth Magnum taking on the Righteous, Vincent and Dutch. I have to say, it's also another match where, of course, we're going to see the Psychotic and the Righteous. It was the Autumn and Sunshine on Truth Magnum, and it was over right from there. Next up, another survival of the fittest match. We have Tracy Williams versus Lee Moriarty. Good combination of two technical wrestlers. You probably would say this would have been a pure title match if it was, or pure match, but in the end, it was in fact the suplex flatliner by Lee Moriarty that picked up win. So I have to say, but I wouldn't be surprised if Lee Moriarty and Lee Johnson butt heads during this tournament. Now, our next match, we have the Butcher and the Blade versus the Boys. Now, I can give you guys a short version on this match. I knew the Butcher and the Blade were going to win this one when they put away Brendan, I believe. But yes, just like that. Now, we do see an interview with Lexi with Maria, Griff Garrison, and Cole Carter. As you know, they had been a very stable team, both Carter and Garrison, but they need to build up that whole thing. Some things had to change. Maria thought about it, Anthem, and I think Griff's like, what the hell? You know, that sort of thing, but we'll see where that leads us. Next up, we have Christopher Daniels versus Angelico. I have to say it was a pretty good match. I mean, good moments, but however, don't forget that Angelico has the, how do I say this, the great technical aspect of this match with the Navarro lock that put away Daniels. However, he and Serpentico decided to stomp on Daniels, but all of a sudden, we saw the arrival of Orange Cassidy and, of course, very nice and very evil Danhausen, but he cursed Serpentico, even though Serpentico was like, he felt like nothing has happened, but he got the orange punch by Orange Cassidy. And then as soon as that happened, Angelico gave him a sheep chop by attacking him at the ankle. I'm sure, what's his name? Orange Cassidy is not happy with that, but he'll get his hands on Angelico soon enough. Now, the rivalry between Tony Nese and Ethan Page has reached a new high. As you know, ever since Ethan Page has arrived to Ring of Honor, he has been building up great momentum, tried to put the entire locker room on notice, saying that he is going to reach the top. However, Tony Nese took exception of that, believing that, you know, he was nothing but a problem that should not have been in Ring of Honor. Even Sterling tried to sign him, but of course Ethan Page had no reason. But however, their first encounter featured Mark Sterling getting involved, and then of course Ethan Page outsmarting Tony Nese. However, Tony Nese felt that this match, so this is going to be an I Quit match. So of course Ethan Page tells him that once he's done with Tony Nese, he's going to move on to bigger and better things and hope that he can reach to the top. But Tony Nese sees that he is nothing more than a loser. But once again, cheap tricks on Ethan Page. I just hope Ethan Page gets his momentum. But as you know, this coming Saturday, he faces against Kenny Omega. And I think that's going to be awesome. Now, our last match for the survival of the fittest Ring of Honor World Television Tournament. Kyle Fletcher versus Gravity. You can see the new aggressive side of Fletcher, but it was the hammerlock power driver that made the difference maker for him to advance. So we will see what happens more on the survival of the fittest of the Ring of Honor World Television, and I think that's pretty much it. So let's move on with some news updates. Okay, so let's welcome to our news updates. Now, first thing first, let's talk about updates on upcoming events from various promotions. We have majority of them from late this year and 2024 as well. As you know, we had the JCW Jersey J Cup is back. As you know, they already made the 4 announcements, 4 participants. A 5th one has been announced, and that is none other than the Octopus, Jonathan Gresham. Now, 2 matches have been announced for the upcoming start of the year for House of Glory. Brace for Impact. We have, of course, Josh Alexander making his debut. And then we also have, of course, the House of Glory World Tag Team titles. The main event defends their tag titles against 1, 2, Sweet! That's right, the ABC will be making their debut as well. Now, speaking of Impact, as you know, TNA will be back next year, and for their upcoming show taking place in Las Vegas for Snake Eyes, it's been announced that Kazuchika Okada makes his return to TNA. If you guys still remember, during Okada's excursion, he went to TNA, and that's how he met the Bucks, if you guys know the story all too well. I mean, Okada was well taken care of by Matt and Nick Jackson, practically outside the ring. They are, in fact, good friends. And, of course, it was Okada who suggested New Japan to hire the Young Bucks as junior heavyweight competitors. So, now you know. As you know, people say that his run with TNA was bad, but now we can see how different he's going to be in TNA. Now, GCW for their upcoming events. The first one, as you know, is going to be this Saturday with Highest in the Room 2 on the 9th. We do have Big Joe taking on Sawyer Wreck. And also the JCW World title will be on the line. Blake Christian's defense his belt against West Coast Pros champion Starboy Charlie. And then, of course, for the 2024 events, the No Compadre event that takes place on the 12th of January in Chicago, Joey Janela will face against Myron Reed. So, yep, that I can't wait to see those matches. Now, let's talk about certain things that were announced. Let's talk about the Fightful Select reports that was announced. It was reported by Fightful Select that Kyle O'Reilly, as you know, who's been out of action for a while now, was spotted in the backstage in AEW recently. Now, we still don't know when he'll be back, but I'm sure many of us are anxious to see him back. So we'll just wait and see. Fightful Select reports also that Deonna Purrazzo will be exploring free agency. So it seems that maybe her contract with Impact Wrestling is coming in, but there was no mentions of extensions with the company. I'm sure that many fans will be sad to see her to go. We don't know where she'll be going next. I wouldn't be surprised if she does go to AEW, but we'll find out soon enough. Now, this has been the talk with Fightful Select and various others about Mercedes Mone. Now, there's been recent talks about the possibilities of Mercedes Mone going back to Sasha Banks to WWE. Now, of course, AEW and New Japan are trying to get her signed. There are plans set by AEW for Mercedes, but it has not been finalized. We know that Bushiroad no longer has any contract with her, but they would like to negotiate one with her. So we don't know what to see. So I think that's it for the Fightful Select reports. Let's talk about a very interesting thing that was reported by Pro Wrestling Noah. It was told that New Japan Pro Wrestling's Tomohiro Ishii has accepted a challenge by Masa Kitamiya. We're going to see a battle of 2 big hosses in this one. I'm so excited for that. So the obvious question does tell me, is this going to be in New Japan or Noah? But to me, I feel this could take place at a Noah event. So if I was a betting man, I would say this could happen at, I believe, at January 2nd. That's the one thing. It hasn't been announced yet, but I will be I'll be paying attention. I'll be scrolling throughout social media and other things to see if it's been announced or not. I think that's pretty much it what we have. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope we all enjoyed this episode. Coming up, we have, of course, AEW Rampage and NXT Level Up. However, we do have Day 15 of World Tag League. Now, also, I was intending to review for this particular episode um, Sukeban, which is the American Yoshi promotion that recently came out. This one features, of course, the first inaugural world champion. Will it be Nakashima or Unagi to pick up the win? That's something we haven't seen. So I was unable to do that for this episode. However, I'm willing to put that in the next one. So let's just hope I have the necessary time, and we'll see where it goes from there. But for right now, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.